but that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, we had some tech issues. The gremlins were working against us, but we're here now. Hope you're all okay. If you're watching live, let us know that you're watching live. If you're watching replay, let us know that you're watching on the replay. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Heidi Mavir. I'm the founder of EOTAS Matters. We work supporting parents and carers in neurodivergent homes. And as part of our commitment to putting interesting people in front of you, I'm interviewing amazing people from the world of neurodivergence and mental health, emotional regulation, and I'm bringing people to talk to you about the work that they do. So tonight I'm speaking with the amazing Yasmin from Glad We Talked. And we're going to chat a little bit about the work that Yasmin does and what she's hoping to achieve, and an amazing offer that she's got where she's giving away something really meaty for free over the summer. So get involved in the chat if you're watching us live, and let us know where you're watching from. But let's dive in. Let's start with just some introductions. Yasmin, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, so that people can get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So hi, everyone. I'm going to lower my voice because I can speak. When I get really excited, Heidi,
I get really shrill.
Shrill. So I'm just going to be mindful and keep my tone down, because then I'll go into shame hangover. So I'm Yasmin. So currently now, I would describe myself as a creative social entrepreneur. So I am a trauma and relationship therapist, counsellor, BACP accredited. I'm also a couples counsellor. And the thing is, though, I'm also dyslexic and have ADHD and dyspraxia. And but I didn't know this until a few years ago, right? So when I was training, doing my counselling, I kept failing all my essays. Now, when I was 18, fast track, like, I don't know how many years ago, without giving away my age. When I was 18, I failed my first year at uni twice.
Right.
And I just thought I was a uni dropout, full of shame, thought I was stupid, thought I was thick. And no one even noticed that I left uni. Obviously I lied to my mother because I would have got into shitloads of trouble. Right. Sorry. Oh, are we allowed to swear?
Oh, Yasmin, you know me. We're fine.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, obviously I had to tell a big whopping lie. So what I did was I got myself a job at a biochemist pharmaceutical company. I made out that I'd actually passed my degree.
That's the ultimate in masking, isn't it? Lying on your CV.
Yeah, and this is why some of my cards, which we'll go on to, has got lying in it, right? Because you're trying to protect yourself. I was full of shame. I couldn't admit it to myself at the time, let alone it. And at uni, no one even asked me, oh, it's just I just slipped away quietly. So then, yeah, and that was biochemistry. So I worked there for a bit. I took voluntary redundancy. And then I've been I'm a failed entrepreneur a zillion times. And I couldn't understand this at the time. I'd have a business idea. I'd do everything, create it. And then I'd be like, nah, I don't want to do that. And move on to another, right? Complete bonkers. That's, and I've milled through life like that. And then I decided to become a therapist. So my mom has, growing up, my dad passed away when I was quite young, very suddenly. My mom's been, my mom was in a psychiatric hospital for a while when I was younger. So I've had that. Growing up with a parent that has had mental health challenges, and it's really understandable. She was bringing up two kids on her own. I was 13 and my brother was 10.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, had my daughter, and then a I lost my partner at the time as well when I was about 34 to suicide. And I had a 2-year-old, and as I have a complicated history, people with trauma do have complicated histories. He wasn't the biological father of my daughter, but he brought her up for the first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really sad time. But I had always vowed that I would not be a dysregulated mom, and I would not be the same type of, I would not let stress, I would not take it on my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it was really, really hard. And I became this shouty mom. And I was like, oh my God, my daughter is not going to want to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't want to pass generational trauma down.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner, who I lost to suicide, you know, he almost made it. We were going to I made it. I changed my life, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to become a therapist. But at the time, I couldn't even stand, you know, my nervous system. And it took me 15 years to become a counsellor. And that's when I came across polyvagal theory. And I'm not joking, Heidi, it changed my life. Now, there's so much people go, oh, but it's it's pseudoscience and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Last year, I had the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Stephen Porges and his son. And if you go onto one of my websites, I even was brave enough to ask him about all this criticism and the answer he gave, he's such a humble guy, but as a therapist, seeing how, and on a personal level, how that just changed my life and changed my relationship with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot shout from the rooftops. But the thing is, being dyslexic, there's no way I was going to read his big fat book. And I told him that last year. So I learned a lot of it from YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, how can I explain this to my clients in a way? Because most of my clients are neurodivergent like me.
Yeah.
That's simple and relatable. So I created some cards. They're called What's My State and a board.
Mm-hmm.
And then quietly, some of them can be found on this website called Talkie Talk Cards. It's a free resource I've created.
Yeah.
It's got around 8,000 prompts. You need to be online. It's made in Unity, and you can chat and ask questions. They're like prompts, just prompts. So that happened. And then I've been creating, I'm like this bloody, what can I say? And
I know when we've talked before, you're like this never-ending ideas machine.
yeah,
and
I've got the neurosloths. I've got scribble to do.
And I love that you're I think you've got that part of that lovely part that some ADHDers have, where you're constantly thinking about solutions to problems. And
Yeah, but that is what creativity is.
Yeah.
You know, I always used to think, oh, you have to be good at art. No. Oh my God, I've had the most creative ideas to get myself out of scrapes.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. That is what, you know, creativity is, finding solutions. And earlier this year, I was ill for about 2-3 months. I was on my sofa, feeling sorry for myself, totally burnt out. And the thing is, I've been making all this stuff, but there's not much you can buy from me because I never get to that stage. I'm like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's a free download, or here's that, or here's that. So I thought, shit, I've got to make some money somehow, you know. But at the same time, even being a counsellor, if I'm honest, totally honest, and I hear this, you know, firstly, I don't work with children. I work with anyone 16 emerging adulthood and parents, because I really, really believe that's where the change happens. I'm not saying people don't need therapy. I'm not saying that at all, but a really good starting point is for parents. Oh, I'm also founder of World's Let's Stop Shouting Day. And that happens on November the 8th, raising awareness of the impact shouting has on us, because I was shouted at as a lot as a kid. And then I became a real shouter. And now I'm a very occasional shouter. And really, it is so not good for your health, like not just mentally, but physically as well. So there's that. Yeah. So then me being on my sofa, and I'm a bit dramatic, you know, like when my partner passed away, like, you know, some people might just grieve. I actually drove and moved country, you know, and just left all my stuff. So I'm a bit, you could say a bit of a dramatic.
We'll allow you a bit of drama for losing a partner.
I'm a bit dramatic.
We'll allow that.
So on my sofa, January, February, some of March, ill. Actually, I think it was emotional burnout, and I think I've been going for years and years and years. So I was like, I can't do nothing. So I thought I'd just rearrange all my resources. And we have a program. It's a social emotional learning program. It's called Glad We Talked. And it's about understanding communication is more than just words. It's polyvagal informed. So when I say informed, it means I take parts of polyvagal theory into it. It's 5 parts. I've had a beta testing with like therapists testing it over the past few months. And I decided to give 1,000 free spaces to home educators and educators this summer. And it's like, why am I doing this? You know, people have, and I was like, oh, good question. Well, the thing is, being a parent is a really fucking difficult thing. And I have been a single mom for many years as well. And I've had partners, you know, my ex-partner of like 10, can't remember, 8 years, 10 years. He brought up my daughter from age 7, and he's been a wonderful man, you know, but for years I was like a single mom as well. So parenting is difficult. It is hard. And I don't think any parent thinks I want to be a shitty parent, you know, at all. We all have our children wanting to be good parents, or, you know, and the best for our kids as well. So I've created this program, and yeah, I'm hoping that people will love it so much that eventually I can charge for it. Not a lot, but I can charge for it. Yeah. And I also, you know, the summer holidays, it's a really stressful time. It can be. Yeah. It can be a frightening time for parents as well, because you've got your kids, you know, you might be working or you're with them all the time, and it's a change in, you know, what's the word? Well, it's change, isn't it?
Dynamic. Dynamic.
That's the word. You read my mind. That's the word. So it starts, I was going to start it end of June, but then my nephew's end of July, but my nephew's getting married end of July, I discovered. So I'm starting it in August, and it's self-paced. So you can watch the videos in your own time, and then you can also drop in. I'll be live 3 times a week for people to ask questions. Amazing. Over 5 weeks. Now, because I'm neurodivergent, I just zone out when I'm watching a video. So all the videos are bite-sized. They're 10 minutes. Lovely. And I would encourage like parents to do it. I would encourage couples to do it. You can listen to it. and then to share that knowledge with their kids or implement it, and you really will see that ripple effect.
I love that. And so it's rooted in polyvagal. So for anyone who doesn't know, Yasmin, can you give us like your queen of polyvagal?
Okay,
so just top line of what polyvagal is for anyone who isn't familiar.
So in a few minutes, if I give you, right, normal medicine or modern medicine very much splits the mind-body connection, right? Polyvagal is a biopsychosocial model which says that our behaviors are influenced not alone but by the biochemistry of the body, or the science of the body, the mind, so the psyche, but then also the environment, so social. Okay, now polyvagal is it's very much focused around the autonomic nervous system, which is the 10th cranial nerve, which runs from the back of the head through the thorax and all the way throughout the body, connecting different organs. So the key concept of polyvagal, I would say, is that behavior is a clue to what's happening with the nervous system. Yeah. So once you start understanding that behavior is not personal, it's not selfish, it's not rude. The body has got, as mammals, we've got two purposes. The first is to keep ourselves safe, because if we don't stay safe, we don't survive as mammals. Now, what does safety look like? It's different for everybody, right? That is key. And then on the other side, you've got connection, right? As humans, it's our biological imperative to connect with others. So constantly, we've got this tug of war going on. In one of my books, I've got this like a visual. So you've got on one side keeping safe, and on the other side, you've got the need to connect. And it's this constant tug of war. So going back, the autonomic nervous system, think of it. It's got 3 gears, not 5. Well, it has got 5, but we're going to keep it really simple. It's got 3 gears. When we feel relaxed and safe, we go into what I call the relaxed mode. So we are kind, we're flexible, we'd do anything. If someone asks us to do something, we'll go, yeah, cool, fine, we'll do it. We're creative, we're fun, we're good at keeping healthy boundaries, our self-care is good, and that's the relaxed state, right? Now, the moment we detect threat, right, through a invisible process called neuroception, think of it as a radar 24/7 scanning your environment, right, picking up clues inside the body and outside the body, right? So that's the process. So this like alarm going constantly. You know, if you're with friends and you're all happy chatty and they make some like remark and then you're suddenly like arms folded, move away a bit, no, I'm all right. That sort of thing. We're constantly scanning for clues of safety or danger. The moment we do that, there's 2 different gears we can go into. Now, the key, Heidi, is to remember that they are protective. They are defensive. Even the word defensive, I feel a bit shamey. So my preference is to use the word protective states. So you've got the high energy protective states, like lying, for example. Even stealing, I would say, could go into and I call this the mobilized high energy moving energy. Think of mobile as in moving energy. So we're short and snappy. We might flee, escape. We may send a mean text, slam a door, throw a mobile. I'm not encouraging that type of behavior, but I'm human. So it's high energy, heightened anxiety, high alert, all this sort of energy. You know, sometimes you have this energy in you and you just want to like smack something or throw something. You need to get that energy out. So it's a protective state. I'll keep saying it, protective. No one's doing it to you. You know, it's a protective state. The second protective state is the low energy. And the word I use, immobilized. So not moving. So it's like bed rotting, freeze response, dissociation. You know, for years, I used to say, oh my God, this really weird thing happens to me. Like, people talk to me and I just can't say what I need to say, but I'll spend 3 years thinking about it. Right? And it's the freeze response. And the thing is, the threat detection system existed before polyvagal. Why I fell in love with polyvagal, because it was polyvagal that uncovered the freeze response, right? So things like shame, bed rotting, you know, wanting to be alone, but not really wanting to be alone. Withdrawal, isolation, feeling trapped, shame. These are all low energy. So it's really about understanding how behavior impacts, how the sense of safety impacts our behavior.
And important to say as well, isn't it, that these responses are involuntary responses.
Until you raise your awareness. They're involuntary responses. And, you know, people can say, well, what makes you feel safe? Right? There's a whole number of things, you know. Yes, it can be genetics. It can be the things, experiences that have happened to you, the past trauma. It can be trauma in the womb. It can be intergenerational trauma. You know, it can be, you know, from previous generations. It can be the type of birth you experienced as well. I always say our nervous system is on a journey, because even this encounter that me and you are having, we are both going to be changed. And anyone listening, we're not going to be the same. We're always in a constant, on a journey. And that's what I talk about, our nervous system having been on this journey. So and we call it implicit memory. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who I trained with at the Trauma Research Foundation, he talks about it, implicit memory, where there's this feeling but you don't know where it's come from. So the body remembers. The mind may not, but the body does. So a lot like scribble-dee-doo is one of my inventions, and that's about scribbles, doodles, colors, shimmies and shimmers. And that's, I don't use the word somatic because I think it's such a bloody boring word and it sounds so serious. And, you know, people don't really know it's to do with the body. So I created scribble-dee-doo. It's somatic. But I wanted to make it a bit fun as well, if that makes sense. And then the biggest one of the third principles of polyvagal is co-regulation. Right. So you cannot have regulated children if you have dysregulated adults. Right. So this is why my preference is to support parents. Do you know, I had so much shame. I used to really lose my rag, right? And it's like, you know, that sort of, you dare not leave the house because what must the neighbors think, right? And I knew I had to stop that. And I'll tell you, if I can change, literally anyone can. I mean, my daughter have an amazing relationship. She even knows about polyvagal. Do you know, she's more regulated than me. And I'm like, it makes me, you know, she can stand her ground. She can put her case forward without becoming dysregulated.
I think this is really key, especially for those of us who are ADHDers, who have that like heightened emotional response to things. Knowing how your nervous system works, knowing that you are without knowing it, you can become a victim of your environment, right? Because you're being triggered by things all the time and you're being pulled into big feelings and big emotional responses. And then like you talk about shame, you have a lot of shame associated with those things. Knowing what's going on in your nervous system, being able to pick up on those things, knowing, for example, what your, I guess, quick fixes for regulation are to help you stay, you know, connected to what's going on in your nervous system. And we know that those of us who are neurodivergent, our nervous system works differently to people who are not neurodivergent. So it would make sense for us to understand our nervous systems, right?
Yeah, and the key to this is, right, the key, firstly, rejection sensitivity, right? Yeah. Understanding that, it helps you understand, but also the key, I could never advocate for my needs, right? And also, you know, we've got sensory sensitivities triggering, activating us. But the key, the change also is I could never advocate for my needs because I would lose the plot. I would cry. I would be this crazy lady. Oh, well, look at her. Like, of course, right? I'd be this psycho. So I could not get my needs met because I couldn't advocate for myself, because I couldn't regulate.
Yeah.
But now I can regulate. I can get my needs met because I can advocate for them with clarity because I know what I need, but also, you know, with a sort of steadiness as well.
And also, I think for me, what I found with polyvagal, because, you know, I'm a big fan of understanding how polyvagal plays into how we understand ourselves. For me, I'm able to say, even in situations when I'm not properly regulated, I can say to people, look, I am someone who has big emotional responses. Please listen to what I say and ignore the way that I'm saying it, because I know I can speak clearly. I know I can say what I mean, but I might appear very emotional. So it's okay for you to ignore if I seem like blunt or abrupt or angry, or please understand that I know what I'm saying, just ignore my tone. Do you know what I mean? And I find that really helpful. Like in meetings when I'm advocating for families, I'll say, you know, and if they'll say, oh, you seem to be getting very agitated. I'm not agitated. This is my communication style. I'm okay. You know, let's keep going, sort of thing. So I think even if you're not able to get into that fully relaxed, safe and social state, knowing that about yourself and being able to explain to people, you might be misreading my communication tone. I know that underneath this, I am all right. I am regulated. I think that's really
that's a really key. And the thing is, I do not use the word calm in any of my training. I think it's such a shitty, like, shaming for neurodivergent. I use the word steady, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we can wobble. I've got in my therapy room, I've got one of those exercise balls, you know, the ball thing.
Yeah, like
and I've got a ruler on it, and it's like, we can't stay steady all the time. Of course, we're going to move around. I mean, we can't be calm, because to me, that is calm, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay to be, as long as you can just get yourself back. And also, don't forget, I mean, that is key, letting people know, like, your it doesn't mean you're angry, it's not personal, but also, like, being able to use different communication. I don't like speaking on the phone. I don't speak. My phone is always on silent. No one can ring me unless it's my daughter. I will pick up.
Same.
You know, even my accountant, but then I can't manage emails because of the threads, because of my dyslexia. So I've started, you know, even my accountant sends me a text message because I can follow those text messages. So it's also, firstly, knowing what your communication style is, what are your strengths, what's going to sort of hold you back a bit, right? And then asking for your needs to be met. You know, anyone who kind of knows me is like, I'm like, I can't manage email until I get support with access to work. I can't manage email threads. I've got 60,000 emails, you know, and I dare not throw anyone away. I don't read them, but just in case.
Just in case. Yeah.
Just in case.
But then that's why, you know, kind of have to think about, okay, so like we did tonight, quick Facebook message backwards and forwards to make sure we knew where we were, right? But like you say, that shame that comes with, oh, I should be able to manage email threads. What's wrong with me? You know, but knowing this about ourselves helps us to be able to engage with people and for us to invite people to meet us where we are, right? So I'm so excited about your Find Your Steady program. So if people want to come and join you on that, it's for home educators, parents, carers, people.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I'm giving free spaces to home educators and educators, but if you're a parent as well, just come on it. I'm not going to be strict. I haven't got time to change the wording at the moment, but if anyone wants to come on it, just come on it. You're more than welcome. And just tell people about it, please, because I really, and the thing is also, this isn't just about this program is about relationships, but with so many women with fibromyalgia, right, and trauma response illnesses, and if I just explain the word homeostasis, when your body's in the relaxed state, that's when cell rejuvenation takes place. That's when your body repairs, right? That's when it gets rid of all the crappy stuff, the mitochondria work. But the moment you are in a mobilized or immobilized state, right, homeostasis cannot take place. Cell rejuvenation, the repair of your body does not take place. So it's not just about the relationships or your mental health. It's about your physical health as well.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
So yes, so please tell as many people. I want to have a party this summer with other parents, you know, and to help you like be less shouty and be fun.
Amazing. I love the work that you do, Yasmin. I'm so inspired by your creativity and everything that you do. So I will make sure that I'm pointing people at you. For people who are watching on the replay or on the live, if you're looking to find Yasmin, I'm going to put some things up on screen, so you can find her free resources at talkytalk.cards. The best website to find her on is gladwetalk.com. I'll pop her Facebook name on screen, but basically, if you need to find Yasmin, if you come via, if you search Yasmin Shaheen-Zaffar, you will find her online. And if you are watching this on replay, I will make sure the links are in the comments as well. So come and find her. If you can't find her, pop me a message saying that amazing person that you were speaking to who's doing that amazing program over the summer, I need to find it, and I will pop you a link. And thank you so much for joining me, Yasmin. It was lovely to chat to you. It always is. And,
thank you, Heidi. Thanks so much for your time. It's really, really appreciated.
All the best with the program. Come and find Yasmin, everybody, and let me know if you are watching this on replay. We'll see you all later. Take care, everyone. Bye.